Our purpose today is to have a discussion, so I don't want to drone through this with PowerPoint charts and not hear from you. But in my rehearsals, I pulled this chart up, and I looked right at that top line there. It says, Lessons of a Life Almost Fully Lived. And I thought, geez, sounds like the end is near. Anybody know CPR in here? Thank God. So if I drop on the floor, never mind. Just kidding. I can guarantee you I'm in very good health, and we're going to get through this session this morning. Hopefully have a little bit of fun, and hopefully help you come to grips with what is before you and an approach that I think I took through my rather complicated life that helped me. So those of us who sat in the seat you are sitting in today, although when I was in that seat, the facilities were nothing like they are today. Okay, nothing. But that seems like yesterday. But it was about 49 years ago. So, to begin, let me set the stage by telling you that I had no idea what was waiting for me after graduation. All I knew was I was going to go in the Army. I felt a calling there. I wanted to get my commission and get on with life. Much beyond that, I really didn't have any idea. I had just thoughts of how long I might do it. I had thoughts of what my bachelor's degree might be in, what I ought to shoot for. But the moment you graduate and you walk out and you take that gown off, you'll feel this breeze in your face. Well, that's the headwinds starting. Life will come at you fast. You will be called upon over the course of your working life to do things that you cannot possibly envision now. That's just a fact. But it's also okay. And here's why. If you prepare well, if you take advantage of the time you have here at Georgia Military College, and wherever you choose to finish your 4-year degree, whether it's an academy or civilian university, if you take that seriously, if you work hard, and if you commit to it, and you build a set of skills, a good set of skills, and put those in your rucksack, and keep it with you for your work in life, you'll be able to take ownership of your life early on, and everything you do. It will become sort of a signature of your purpose in life and how you approach it. And it's going to work out. Because whether you get a Bachelor of Arts in the classics or business, you'll learn enough skills to be a little bit of a critical thinker, take apart problems, pull people together, and resolve them. Eddie, could we go to the next chart, please? I thought it would be appropriate if I could give you some glimpse of the life that I lived. And I started trying to build this. So I call this my spitball chart because its first edition was impossible to read. There is so much that has transpired over the course of my working life. It doesn't fit on a chart. So this is sort of a categoric illustration of the way things went down for Rick McCabe. And this takes us right up to about today. Starting up there in the upper left-hand corner, graduation from GMC and Rollins College with a bachelor's degree. Got married right away. Been married to a wonderful woman ever since. Told her straight up front. My objective is to get a bachelor's degree, get my commission, and get on with life. And we talked about it quite a bit. She decided, okay, I'm all in. And she has been ever since for 46 years. Raised 4 children on 3 continents. We've lived together and worked together on 4 continents. And the categories of activities, challenges, and surprises is illustrated graphically on the chart, carrying us all the way to the lower right-hand corner of the chart, where in some military and civilian careers, worked as a executive in Georgia, or in General Dynamics, and represented the company and our country in the Middle East as their senior executive. And then did my own consulting work for a little while, but decided to throttle back and enjoy life. So I bought a boat, and it's in Myrtle Beach waiting for me. And as soon as I'm done here today, I'm going to go back and get on that boat and keep working on it. So going back to the message on this chart is I had no way of knowing that most of this stuff was going to happen when I left this institution or Rollins College. I just couldn't know. And it's probably a good thing. Because if you told me I'd be sitting in the Pentagon on September 11th and the terrorists would fly an airplane into that building and it would come to rest 100 feet from my office, and I'd have to go through a process of getting all of our folks out safely and figure out a way to reconstitute an operation so that the next morning we'd be up and running. If you had told me that on that same occasion, as terrible a day as it was, you know what? The next morning, whether injured or not, everybody showed up for work. Every office, every organization in the Pentagon was represented. You had people on crutches walking into that building. Reporters standing there, the nation, I think the world was amazed. These people, some of them fairly elderly folks who'd been in that building for a long time. They said, "This is my building. This is my country. Nobody's keeping me out of here." I had no way of knowing that was going to happen. I had no way of knowing that at some point in my career, actually in the first 5 or 6 years, I'd be surprised by a visit from King Hussein of Jordan in my little command post in the Middle East. I was just told a few minutes before he showed up that he was just going to come by and say hello. We were on an exercise. He'll just shake your hand, thank you for being here, and then he'll move on. No. King Hussein of Jordan was a brilliant man. He remembered technical details of challenges we had had in previous years. He walked right up to me, took my hand, squeezed it, pulled me close to him, and he said, "How are we doing this year with our radar integration?" For 15 minutes, I stood there and had a conversation with a national sovereign of a Middle Eastern ally. I was a captain. It was amazing. Who could know that that would happen? Or that a number of years later, as a brigadier, I would be having lunch with President George H.W. Bush and Brent Scowcroft, his national security advisor, talking about the situation in Saudi Arabia. Who would have known? These things you won't be able to forecast, but if you take what we're doing here seriously, if you take the time you have to develop your skills seriously, you're going to be just fine. You will wade through the challenges that life presents, and it's all going to work out. You're going to take care of your family, you're going to take care of your country, and you'll be here standing in front of your successors, the Georgia Military College, 40 or 50 years hence, and you'll probably give a better presentation than I will. How's that? Let's go to the next chart, Eddie. So, if you were to summarize my approach in retrospect to how I handled my life and how I went about seizing a bit of ownership, I tried to paint you a picture right here. Essentially, these key pillars were the key for me. Making commitments, but committing to my family, my work. My approach to things was, okay, if this is mine, I'm going to commit to it. I've got these responsibilities, and that's how I'm going to handle things. Knowledge. Cultivating the skills now to collect knowledge, skills to gain knowledge fast, and recognizing the fact that the requirement to do that never ends, ever. Integrity. It's a form of behavior. It's a mindset. You say what you mean, You do what you say, and you can be relied upon. Part of your signature in life. And the talent to build and sustain relationships, pulling people together. Now, the last item up on the chart, we're not going to spend a lot of time on this morning, but I do want to emphasize to you that maintaining personal fitness, physical, mental, emotional, all of it, really matters. It transcends everything you do in life. It is a key enabler. Key enabler to giving you the ability to sustain yourself over the long haul. Keep your mind sharp, your body in shape, stay healthy, and it is a key enabler. So we're not going to talk about it a lot this morning, but keep that in the forefront. PT matters, so make it a part of your life. Keep all of this in mind, because if you're successful, you become recognized as somebody who brings solutions, who brings results, not baggage. There's two kinds of folks in your work and life that you're going to recognize. And you'll know them, because when one of them shows up and walks in the door to a meeting, it's like, oh, okay, he's back. But when the other one shows up and the problem you're supposed to be working on is significant, you feel glad to see him, because the odds are something's going to get done. That's who you want to be. Okay? Next chart, Eddie. Take a look at the question at the bottom of the chart and ponder it just a minute, just for a moment. True or false? If you choose a negative or a destructive approach to things, can you expect anything but a destructive, self-limiting result? What are we talking about? Choosing to commit implies, okay, that you have to go about it a very particular way. And it spans the 5 bullets that you see up there. Pretty much anything you do, okay? Committing to yourself, your family, the organization that you represent, your country, all of it suggests that matters tend to be important enough for you to take a positive approach. Think about that just a second. It's easy to walk into a challenge and get frustrated and just say, let's just tear the whole thing apart and be destructive. Most of the time, it's a lot smarter to be positive, constructive, promote good discussion. Stay with it. Be committed to doing it this way, because the outcome tends to be positive. You can't always get to exactly where you want to end up, but the journey to get someplace positive is much better. So we have to turn the tables here. I need to hear your thoughts. Take a look at the question now, and I'm just going to pick someone unless someone raises their hand. What do you think? Is it true or false, and why? I got a hand up here. All right. Yes, sir.
Hello, I'm Stanley Griffin. I'm an ECP cadet, and I'm from Melbourne, Florida.
I'm a Florida boy.
So I definitely do believe that if you go about seeking or projecting negativity, that's what you're going to find. Because if you believe that you can do something or you believe that you can't do something, you're right.
Okay. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, sir. I'm Ashley Cardenas. I'm from Los Angeles, California, and I'm a U.S. Naval Academy scholar. So I always reference the quote, also a Star Wars quote, your perception is your reality. So I think we always think as who we are. So I think if we have a negative mindset or we just have negative thoughts, they're demotivating to us, and I think we will honestly start believing that ourselves. So if we change it, if we switch our thinking, I think it'll become a reality.
Power of positive thinking. I didn't even put that on the chart, but it's a great conclusion. Give her a hand. All right. Okay, Eddie, next chart. Hey, take a second. Give Eddie a hand up there. He does a lot of great stuff for you guys, okay? Hey, Eddie, it's a little bit subdued down here, man. I'm not sure what's going on. Okay, integrity. Listen. What the title says, I mean from the bottom of my heart. Okay? It's crucially important that you remember that this is never a relative thing. And in these days, relativism is a dangerous habit. You don't have integrity relative to someone else. You don't have varying degrees of integrity based upon the situation. Look, you either have it or you don't. You either do what you say, you either say what you mean, or you don't. You either meet your commitments or you don't. Just that simple. And in the end, are we not talking about a key element in building trust? For the rest of your life, whether you grasp this now or not, a degree of trust is an essential element to the survival of a society and any organization's success. It's just that way. Well, if you ain't got this, it's pretty tough to sustain that. So, take a look at the question on the bottom of the chart. You got 5 seconds. I'm going to pull somebody, unless I see a hand. Here we go. This is a great group. Boy, you guys jump right in.
Good morning, sir. My name is Raymond Schultz. I'm from Columbus, Mississippi, and I'm an ECP cadet. I do think that integrity is a foundational element in good character, because without integrity, you can't have honor. Without honor, you can't keep your word, and thus you will have no respect. These three are fundamental aspects and tenets of good character, sir.
Very well said. Very well said. Give him a hand. I tell you, look, when you've gone through life as I have, and you come back and you talk to folks in your generation, and you get answers like I'm hearing this morning, it is reassuring. I don't care how bad the politics gets. We're sending a young crowd out there that has some idea of what right looks like. That's the goal of Georgia Military College, isn't it? You build the skills here under this regime, under this process, you will have something that most of your colleagues in the civilian world just don't have. God bless you for that. Okay. Eddie, let's go to the next chart. Knowledge. The captain of a ship knows his job. The captain of a ship never gives anyone the impression that he does not. The captain always knows. Okay, truth in lending, those are words that came out of a movie. But the truth is, the image of leadership is that you have the knowledge that is necessary to sustain the operation, bring your craft, bring your crew, your people home. If you're in business, you understand the business well enough. If not, to state the answers up front, you have the knowledge to know about how to ask the right questions to get at contributing answers that get you to the desired objective. The requirement to have knowledge and build knowledge will never go away. On my spitball chart, if you added it up, after GMC and Rollins College, I probably spent another 5 years in various schools. Now that ended up amounting to 3 master's degrees, 2 of which were associated with the Army's Advanced Military Studies program, and the other with the War College, because the rigor qualifies as a master's degree, and therefore you were awarded one. The first one that I got, I did it voluntarily on my own time in the evening, okay, at Murray State University. The requirement to continuously build knowledge will never go away. So dismiss the notion that once you finish college, you're not going to have to continue to find ways to build knowledge. That's just not true. You have to cultivate good reading habits. You have to cultivate a personal process that allows you to stay on top of the realities of the world, to be informed, so you can operate in context. And the higher you go, the more strategically critical that will be. Now, you may not appreciate this today, but you will. There's not much choice. Everybody in this audience today is here because you aspire to assume some form of a leadership role. Whether you agree with that or not today, it's just a fact. Whether you start here today, you finish a 4-year degree, and I really want you to do that, whether it's at an academy or a university, that's just the start. And the more disciplined you are in this particular realm, the better you and your organization and your country will be, and your family. You will share the same conviction with your children. That's what great societies are made of. That's how great countries sustain themselves. Okay? I won't read the chart to you, but take a look at the question at the bottom of the chart. Useful knowledge, a key instrument in becoming a critical thinker. A critical thinker can maintain a level of objectivity as he or she analyzes a problem, defines it accurately, and works with others to build good solutions. So, what's the answer to the question here? True or false, and why? Yes, sir.
Sir, I'm Cadet Justin Hall. I'm a State Service ECP cadet here, and I'm a history major. The answer is true, and the thing I noticed is that accurately defining problems, a lot of people, sometimes I leave that out, but it's very important to define the problem before you can go about solving it and get your terms and facts right. But absolutely, as a leader, people are going to be looking to you for guidance, and you can use your subordinates, but at the end of the day, you need to make the decisions, and critical thinking is one of the most important things you need to be, one of the most important skills you need to have as a leader.
Well said. Give him a hand. Good job. Thank you. Thanks for that. So, keep in mind, as you go forward, there will be many times, whether you are just a member of a team or leading a team. How are you today, by the way? I'm going to give you the next question, so be ready, okay? You look like you're ready. Just remember, going forward, it's always a good idea to ask the folks you're working with, wait a minute, what problem are we trying to solve here? You'd be surprised how teams can drift away from the central point, okay? Ask that question. Next chart, Eddie. Relationships. You've heard the term "no man is an island"? Yes? No? Can I get a hooah? Okay, I know you're still awake then. No, and there will be very few things in your life that do not touch other people. There will be very few great solutions to challenges that do not involve teamwork. Remember when I said, folks, looking to see who's walking in the door, either are going to go, oh, him again, or, all right, we'll get something done today. The ability to create and sustain relationships is critical. Everybody has something to offer. You're not going to have all the answers. Guarantee you won't. Maybe a few times you think you will, but take another drink of water and relax. You won't. It's always best to build relationships, and some of those relationships are going to sustain you. Take a look at a couple of the bullets here. The first one, it's not really who you know. How many of you have heard that one before? Raise your hand. Oh, yeah, I got it. That's good. He knows people. No. A jerk is a jerk to everyone. And people who are in charge know when someone's sucking up to them or when they're just honestly reaching out in an effort to contribute. There's a huge difference, okay? So it's not just who you know. It's not just who you know. It's how and what you are known for. Keep that in mind, okay? Don't bring baggage. So the question is, can healthy, positive relationships help clarify things? Where's my answer person? There she is. That long. Congratulations, by the way. You're my first nominee today. Everybody else just jumped up, but you just looked like you were ready.
My name is Plebe Long. I'm an ECP cadet, and I'm from Griffin, Georgia. And I think the answer to the question is it can help you with healthy relationships because those are the people that are going to guide you and help you when you need to and motivate you to get that path. And yeah, that's all I got.
That's excellent. You just mentioned something that equates to human synergy.
Yes, sir. Teams
that work together can get great things done.
Yes, sir.
Give her a hand. That was very well done. Thank you. Very nice. Next chart, Eddie. Okay. One of life's lessons is to take those who went before you seriously. They've already been through a gauntlet. They've already experienced a lot. Most all of them have already been knocked down and had to get back up. You will get knocked down. You will have to get back up. You'll fall off the horse. You're going to have to get right back in the saddle, like it or not, and you're going to have to keep riding. I learned incredible lessons from some tough leaders over the course of my life, both in the military service and in industry. I witnessed some of the best of the best. There are leaders in General Dynamics, one in particular, okay, that if he called me today, I'd go. Take a look at the quotes, because these are quotes that are some of my personal favorites, and there are many. There are many out there, okay? You can accomplish anything in Washington, D.C. as long as you don't care who gets the credit. We're talking about a leadership technique. The art of asking the right questions, facilitating good answers from folks, and giving them the credit. And just sit back and let them flourish. We have to be able to work with people we really don't like. It's stated just a little bit crass, but it is really the truth. Personalities vary, gang. You're going to come across some folks who you just like being around, and you're going to come across some you just don't even want to be in the same room with. They can be harsh. Guess what? You don't have a choice all the time. You got to find a way to work constructively with them. Okay? That's just the truth, a truth of life, and it helps you accomplish tremendous things that are far more important, quite honestly, than you as an individual. It's just wisdom, okay? My personal favorite is, always tell the truth, you'll have less to remember. My little secret is, as you get older, it gets harder to remember stuff. So it's a good idea to stick with this one. I'm going to let you read the last few there. And I'm going to pick a nominee to talk to us about that bullet across the bottom of the chart. So that the magic finger is up, unless I see a hand here. Okay. Right here. Good morning. You. Cadet Gooden. Thank you.
Is it the
Your
last bullet point, sir?
Your thoughts.
On the last one?
The bottom of the chart. Our leaders and predecessors addressed daunting challenges, and they knew stuff. What does that mean to you?
Morning, sir. My name is Cadet Gooden. I'm an ECP cadet here at GMC, and I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. I think that all good leaders have to learn from experience, and that leaders who came before us have already addressed some of these challenges. So it's important that we cut some of the time off that it took for them to learn those things and learn them earlier in our lives so we can try to make it better for our future people and for the people that we lead. We're supposed to lead them to be better than us, and the leaders before us were better than us, or we're trying to be better than them. So if we continue down the chain, eventually we're going to have a really great line set up.
Well said. Thank you. Give her a round of applause. In my multiple tours in the Pentagon, I can tell you, someone came to me one day, was a retired Army colonel, and it was my first tour in the Pentagon. And he said, I know you don't know anything about operating in the Pentagon, but let me tell you, rule number one, there are no new problems. Every problem that happens that you're going to face, the same problem just keeps coming back. The money involved is different. The equipment is different. The leaders are different. But it's the same basic problem. It's the approach that was taken that you're looking for. So it's always a good idea when you're working a challenge hard to go in and sit down with your leadership, give them an update, and go in armed with some key questions and ask. Never be afraid to do that. If you ask good questions, you're going to get meaningful answers. If they can't answer it, they will probably reach out to someone else and get you an answer. They have a vested interest in your success. Okay? Your supervisors going forward have a vested interest in your success. Your part of the deal is to own what they ask you to do. Your part of the deal in life is to take seriously your option to own your life. If you don't like the pillars that I threw up on the first chart, you come up with your own, but you find a way to take ownership of your life, and you will bring value to everything that you do. Okay?